Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Lens of Truth with me, Ivan Florentino, and for today's video, since the Wii U and the 3DS servers will be shutting down in April, I've already done a collection of all of my amiibos. Go ahead and check that out when you get a chance. I finally made a video of all of my Wii U library. Although it's Nintendo's lowest selling system, it did have so many great games that eventually made it onto the Nintendo Switch, and there's a couple of games that hopefully will get ported to the Switch or the successor. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, hit that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment, and let's get to it. So starting off with Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. If you guys haven't played this game, this is actually the definitive edition when it was exclusive to the Wii U with extra gore and content, so that was pretty cool. Next, Batman Arkham Origins is actually an underrated Batman game in the Arkham series. You have to check it out. It was actually a really good Wii U port. And Assassin's Creed Black Flag is the only Assassin's Creed game I've ever played, but it's one of the best ones. Go ahead and check it out. It's actually my first ever open world game I've ever played, so that was pretty cool. Darksiders 2 is actually another great port for the Wii U. Although there is some screen tearing here and there, it's actually a great game. It's a great Zelda type of a game, and for the most part it is a great open world game. Now I have a love-hate relationship with the Wonderful 101 because it's a great game, but it's super frustrating at times. It's not as polished as the Bayonetta series, but it is super original, but it gets super frustrating sometimes with its difficulty and its clunkiness in the controls. Monster Hunter 3 is another great game. Although I played it a lot more on the Wii, this one has a lot more content, but it was a fun Monster Hunter game. Hyrule Warriors, I ended up getting it way late in the Wii U's life, but it was actually a fun game. And although it does get very repetitive because it is a warrior style game. Now I'm super lucky to get Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. This is a hard to find game now because there was a limited print run of this. So although some of the dungeons were a little bit frustrating to get through, it's a fun game, especially with the whole Japanese anime J-pop aesthetic. Now, Zombie U is one of those games that I felt like people didn't give it a shot, but I'm telling you right now, it's one of the most creepy horror games I've ever played, especially the tense moments using the gamepad to look through your inventory, and your character will crouch down and look through your inventory, and it's crazy because you will be able to get attacked if you don't pay attention, but it's a highly recommended game if you're into the horror genre. Splinter Cell is actually my first Splinter Cell game I've ever played in the series, and it's a must-have game. Can't wait to see what they do for the next installment. Resident Evil Revelations is one that I played so much on the 3DS, and when it came onto the Wii U, and they made it even better. The graphics look really good, and surprisingly the online was great on both systems. Now, Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut had so many great Wii U features, especially on the gamepad, and the visuals looked nice. It looked really good. Great bosses, great enemies, and so many futuristic gadgets. This is my first Deus Ex game that I've ever played, and it's a highly recommended title. So Mass Effect 3 is one of the first Mass Effect games I've ever played. I didn't play part 1 or 2, and besides Splatoon's multiplayer, this is my most played multiplayer game on the Wii U, and it was super fun with its great horde mode and all of the DLC included with the single story mode. It was super fun. Now, Pokken Tournament is one game that you can also find it on the Switch, all the extra added characters and DLC content as well. There's even a Mewtwo amiibo card, which was pretty cool. The Shadow Mewtwo card, so I never opened that. And this is one of those cool Pokemon meets Tekken fighting games, and hopefully there's a sequel soon. If you've never tried it out, go and check it out. There is a demo on the Switch. And Rayman Legends is one of those great 2D platformers that rivals Super Mario. Super creative, great art style, and music. New Super Mario Bros. U plus Luigi U is the one that came with my Wii U, and although the art style is very bland, it does have creative levels, and it was fun with 4 players. Now for Super Mario 3D World, I must admit the very first trailer they ever showed made it seem uninteresting compared to the second trailer, and now having 100% of the game on both the Wii U and Switch, you have to play this game. It's super fun. Now, Super Mario Maker was made with the Wii U in mind. It was just a shame that it arrived so late in the system's life, because it was very creative and intuitive on the gamepad, especially making the levels. It was super easy, and Mario Maker 2 on the Switch was very clunky compared to this, and this was actually a lot more successful. So if you haven't played it, I recommend checking it out before the server shut down, especially playing all of those online levels. Now, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is one of the best 2D platformers ever made. And it's even better than a lot of Mario games when it comes to the high quality and context within the levels. The music, the level creativity, the graphics. This is one of those platformers you have to play. Now, when it comes to Bayonetta 2, I feel like it's even better than Part 1. I happen to have this one that includes Bayonetta 1. And if you've never played this type of hack and slash action game, this sequel plays so well. The controls are perfect, and it is one of the best action games I've ever played because the controls are so spot on. It has great combat, great enemies, and huge bosses. A must play game on the Wii U. One of my most played Wii U games was the original Splatoon, and I put hundreds of hours into this, and it was one of those few games in a long time that made me fall in love with video games. It was that special and creative from Nintendo. And the story mode is even better than Splatoon 2 and 3, especially the bosses. It was that good. Now, when it comes to the Super Smash Bros. Series, I ended up getting this one with the GameCube controller because that is the best way to play it. Especially if you guys played the GameCube one, Super Smash Bros. Melee, like I did. I put in hundreds of hours into all of the games, and this one with the adapter included, this is one of those games that was a precursor to what we have now on Switch, which is even better. But yeah, if you guys haven't played this on the 3DS and on the Wii U, it's one of the best fighting games on the Wii U. Now, this Nintendo Land included a controller for Luigi, an all green controller with some blue in the background, and a rubber covering for it as well. And if you haven't played this is one of those games that's fun for 2, 3, or 4 players. I just wish that some of those modes were expanded on, but one of my favorites for a single player and some multiplayer was the Metroid Adventure mode, which was really fun. Paper Mario Color Splash, I have to admit, was a disappointing game, although it was very pretty, great music, great art style. The story was okay, but the combat system just couldn't match the original N64 or the Thousand Year Door. Now, one of the prettiest games I played on the Wii U is Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. It's just a shame that you had to look at your gamepad and not at the TV as much for you to appreciate the claymation art style. Hopefully this game does make it onto the Switch or the successor in the future. But man, this was such a great art style that I hope that it's visited soon on another Kirby title. Now, Yoshi's Woolly World is another great looking and adorable game. Great art style, fun gameplay. It does remind me of a combination of Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Story. It's one of the few remaining titles that hasn't made it onto the Switch. And Xenoblade Chronicles X is my first Xenoblade game I've ever played, and one of my favorite open world games also. This is another game that needs to come to the Nintendo Switch or the successor with a high quality remake with a lot of added quality of life features. It was such a fun game. Now, one of the last games for this video is Star Fox Zero. And this one included the Star Fox Guard game, which was originally a type of a demo that was shown off before the Wii U released. And the Star Fox Guard was an okay game for what it was. It did use the gamepad very well. You were able to look around to see all the enemies coming towards you. But the main attraction obviously is Star Fox Zero, and I am a huge fan of Star Fox. And yes, the controls took so much to master, and I was very confused because Nintendo usually always nails the controls first before anything, and I think they try to do the Wii U gamepad gimmick too much for this game to succeed, and it was one of the things holding it back. But besides that, it had some really cool levels that you guys have to play the game. Controls aside, hopefully this is one of those games that also gets a future remaster, because it does need it really bad. But yeah, these are all of my Wii U games in my collection, and make sure you leave a comment down below and tell me which are your favorite Wii U games that you have. Thank you so much for watching, and see you later. Bye.